There is so much clutter. There is so much to sort out. But I'm going to be downsizing into a considerably small flat and a bedroom smaller than this one. So it's interesting how I'm going from a huge big space to, back to just editing videos in my bedroom. But that brings me to this desk here. This isn't where it's been. It's been up against that wall. But I'm sort of rearranging things because the dimensions between that wall and that wall is the same in the new room. So I'm sort of testing it out to make sure everything fits. But there's a story behind this desk which I wanted to talk about because it's old. It's really old. This was it was my mother's, and it was my grandparents before them. It was their wedding present, so it's like 70 years old or something crazy. My mum used it when she was growing up, and it has a lot of sentimental value for myself as well. This was my childhood desk that I used when I was young, a little boy in school. So many hours were sat here being bored doing schoolwork, and all my earliest art journeys took place here, and characters and worlds were created, sometimes on the page on this fairly gross soft pad that's mounted to it, and all of these compartments would become worlds and cities of people on them, and it doesn't get cleaned very much, so there's all sorts of odd bits in here. We've seen enough Daleks now. Actually, this story is worth talking about because this was the first Doctor Who episode I ever saw when I was like 4 years old, and I was like, what the heck are those? They're cool. And then I started drawing Daleks and more robots, and then I kept drawing, and then my whole life happened, and then my first professional gig was on Doctor Who. That's kind of cool. So everything went full circle. What else is there? Tamagotchi? Oh, it's dead. Oops. And I should get this. Should get that framed. Last time I saw my Gran, we had her funeral just a couple of weeks ago. Here is more merchandise from shows that I've worked on. Kitty's not a cat. I did the editing. That's fun. And there's even old sketchbooks and notebooks in here. Let's see if we can find something fun. Good golly. On the first page, it's the first one of the oldest sketches of the onion skin logo. That's fun. I went through a phase where everything needed to be like hexagon shaped, and if you go and find any of my really old stuff, every different franchise and idea was sort of molded into that shape. One of them was, Harmony logo as well, I suppose. So where's this from? Little Book 4, 2015. Here we go. Toon Boom research. Middle port of the apply peg. Practice with mats on blur nodes, blur variable, and transformation. Oh yeah, the blur variable. I didn't know that was a thing. I wanted something that did that effect where something would get blurrier the more it crossed over with something else, and it ended up being a series of rings, each one more blurry than the one before it, and it was huge and dense and took ages to render. And then someone was like, hey, blur variable, right? I was like, what? And things get even older. Look at this. This is an ink box. It's copying. Was that blue before they decided on the word? And inside it's got a like quill and ink thing, like a dipping bit. That's kind of cool. Look, more TARDISes. This little hamburger. Tess Monty did that. Anyway, I've thought time and time again about just having a casual conversation with you all because I never bloody do it. But because this big change is coming up in my personal life and with the channel and whatever, I thought maybe I'd run this by you all as I go. Well, run by you. I mean, it's going to be finished by the time I publish it. But I'm sort of brainstorming on how the heck I'm going to compress my setup to fit in such a small space. And the thing about this desk, which is really interesting, is for some reason I've always gotten a lot done on it because it has, I don't know, maybe because it's cozy or it has memories or something, but whenever I would finish with regular work or whatever, it was, it's sort of like a secondary workstation. I could have a laptop and a small Wacom here, and it was always fun. It never felt like a chore to do work in here. I was more productive on this desk in my room than I was on the main one. Like, not necessarily in output, but rather in attitude. I was more excited. It felt more freeing and like a hobby, which I suppose is what it should be. So, considering that it fits, I'm going to try and make it my main workstation again in a very modern environment. So the first idea, and this is a little bit ridiculous, is what if it were a standing desk and I used this top bit and got like some sort of bracket and mounted Wacom to it, and it was all just sitting here and I'm just like, I don't know if that will work. But then there's this table, which I very nearly threw away 2 days ago, which if I could make it a little bit taller, maybe I'll put it on a box, and then that can have parts on it sitting in front of here, and it even opens as well, so it can have like during sitting mode. Oh look, now I'm computing while sitting. And this is my temporary setup of this desk at the new place. It's wedged perfectly between the bed and the wall. There's that foldy table with the iMac on it. It's tilted at an angle, but that's okay. I can work with that. But it turns out this actually is a good height. I've been working like this for a little while now with the thingy here, and I got an Ergotron, these big arms that mount to things, and I mounted it to the top of the of the window cupboard sill thing, and I opened that up, and the microphone's here, and it sort of just dangles down, and then I can do all my recordings just sort of on the fly while I work. And what's especially fun is it's really easy to convert into sitting mode when I get bored of standing. So this folds down just like it was in the nostalgia days. Bring down each of the components. It doesn't take too long. Just a moment. Wait. Okay. Yep. And grab this. It swings all the way forwards like that, just as I had planned, and moves down, and then just sort of creates a sitting desk. It's a little bit high up to be drawing on while sitting, but you know I can. So it's particularly nice for like editing at this place when I need the thingy less, the drawing less. Yeah, so these things are meant to be mounted pointing up, but I got it dangling down. But it seems to work quite well. You know, the weight is supported just fine. And added perk, which I wasn't expecting, is that if it swings around this way, now it did feel like a bit of a step backwards to go back from having like an office, a proper office, to working in my bedroom. But now I can watch movies from asleep again. Oh yeah.